Well, I attempted to join you this month for our September update from outside in nature's beauty while the sun is still shining and the green leaves and colors haven't quite changed yet. But the animals and the beauty in nature decided to have a stronger voice. So I popped inside to share some thoughts on our theme for this month. The theme of triggers, or as I've liked to think of them lately as disruptors. Disruptors or triggers or whatever's interrupting that conscious thought, that moment, that feeling that you're having. It happens all the time, whether it's grief related or not. I shared just going outside now that there was a dog barking across the street, a lawnmower starting up across the road. Coming inside, there's flies buzzing around me and phone calls going off. Life happens. I can see the flies joining me right now. How do we stay connected in the present moment, in the next step ahead of us, in incorporating all of the lessons and learnings and thoughts we're having in any given moment when we're disrupted by something? When I think about some of the grief triggers that I've talked about over the years and lived through many times, some simple ones come to mind. And maybe it's not even the trigger, but the container for where those triggers easily occur. Being in the car, driving, that silence that gives you a bit of pause and space where you're maybe not around others to just feel what you're feeling, and those waves of grief come in, often triggered by driving by a certain location or a song on the radio or music that you might be listening to. Maybe it's ones that no one talked about, like getting in the shower, feeling that water rush over you and those waves of emotion. There's disruptors everywhere. In the disruption, what is at your exposure or access to help support you through those moments, knowing that we can't get rid of them? I'm able to swat these flies away. But when we're having a serious emotional trigger, whether it be a sound or a smell or something that we've seen that maybe reminds us of our person that's gone, reminds us of a date or an anniversary, the day-to-day moments where we feel their absence strongly. What do we do to support ourselves in those moments? Finding things that work for you now. Maybe it's using your breath and taking a few deep breaths. Not eliminating the trigger, but breathing through it and helping regulate yourself back into the moment. Maybe it's a distraction technique. Maybe there's something that you can do with counting backwards, looking for a certain color of objects in a room. Maybe it's phoning a friend or family member that you can talk it out with. Movement. Is it safe to do so? Is it safe to move your body, to just shake it off, literally jump up and down a few times, go for a walk or a run? Maybe it's cold water and rinsing it over your hands. Triggers are unavoidable, and these disruptors can sometimes, not always, lead to hard feelings, emotional shocks, kind of catching you off guard. But sometimes they can also lead to opportunities, that moment of connection that maybe we haven't felt for a while, an invitation back to our grief to continue integrating it. I was out with some friends on the weekend, and the conversation or idea of the pause came up. Not in regards or relation to what we're talking about today, but just the mastery of the pause and what a pause can do for us in so many areas of life. That moment where we just take a pause. Count to 5, 6, 7, 8. Pauses come up in triggers as well, and I think they're a really helpful tool. that when we are experiencing that disruptor or that moment, maybe a pause. We're not going to deny, we're not going to ignore, shame, or avoid it. But how can we leverage the pause? Another friend and colleague of mine shared a post on the weekend that I saw as well about the opposite of triggers, which she defined as the glimmer. And looking for those moments in life where you just get that little catch of attention that creates that feeling of awe or wonder or gratitude. Often in the most simplest things or experiences, that little tiny moment of joy or seeing something beautiful in the world, in yourself. And sometimes you just need to let it out. As these flies buzz around, I find myself wanting to just, leave me alone, swatting away at them. Whatever you need, exploring this month a little bit deeper in some meaningful ways to support ourselves when we feel those nudges that rub up a little sharp against us. And looking for those glimmers where we see that sparkle in life again, if just for a brief moment. This is a very exciting month. We are launching the bridge for fall 2024. This is your online reimagined support for all those grieving hearts out there. We'll be meeting every 2 weeks over a 3-month period to learn, to share, and to find new ways to support us in our grief. We're not trying to get rid of our grief or pretend it's not there, but to find tools that we can apply today and in the future, while we also take some supported reflection back on where we've come from. You can find out more always at carrywithme.com or reach out through email. Give us a shout. Sending you so much love always. Wishing you a beautiful September. Take care, friends.